Personal development involves three parts. The first part is physical. Take care of yourself. My mama studied and practiced health and nutrition when I was a boy growing up. Paid off. I extended my mother's life by at least 20 years, according to the doctor, a testament to the power of personal growth and health. Mama was a fanatic. Mama was a health nut. Some of the stuff she mixed up for me, my father, and herself. She would say, if this stuff doesn't kill us, I think it's going to help. And we would gag this stuff down. Mama read, Mama searched, Mama tried back on, vitamins, and all that stuff was fairly new when I was a kid growing up. Mama did all that research. My father lived to be 93. I never had a major illness. Mama extended her life by 20 years. My father never retired, embodying the entrepreneurial spirit celebrated by Jim Rohn. When he died, his paycheck was waiting for him. Thanks to my mother and me, I have been in splendid, excellent, and in good health all my life. If there's one thing to be passionate about, it's your health. Take care of yourself. The Bible describes it this way. Treat your body like a temple. That's a good word. Treat your body like a temple. Not a woodshed, a temple. Something you take extremely good care of. Here's one of the reasons why the body and the mind work together. The body is a physical support system so that the mind can dream and the heart can believe that it's possible. And then go to work and make it happen. And for that, you need a good physical support system to manage all of that. Sometimes one will profit. The spirit is willing, but the body is weak. So you don't fall into that. When you wake up in the morning, your mind says, let's go get them. The body's that I can't even get out of bed. So one of these days, you've got to say, body, this is the last time you tell me you can't get out of bed. I'll throw you on the floor and make you do push-ups until you're out of breath. I'll make you read every book that's ever been written on good health. I'll cook vitamins down until your face turns blue. This is the last time you say, you're not going to vigorously support me to make my dreams come true. You just have to take action now on this stuff. Fear of the physical support system. You need to pull off your dreams, your promise, and your future. Make this note. Some people don't do well just because they don't feel well. It's not that they don't have the skills. It's not that they don't have all the rest. They don't have the vitality, the vigor, or the vitality. I travel all around the world. If you saw my travel schedule and work schedule, you would say it was impossible. I'm probably the only one who can do it. Thanks to Mama and my own study and practice of health and nutrition. Now here's the next one. The first is physical. The second is spiritual. And whatever you believe about spirituality, I happen to believe humans are a unique creation. Spirituality is part of it. But shut this down now. If you are a believer, jot down these three words. Study, practice, and teach your belief in spirituality. Don't leave your spiritual conclusions to be researched and studied, and don't leave them to be practiced. And whatever you do, don't leave it on. Teach, study, practice, and teach. If we all do that, starting with our family, we'll build the families necessary to build a strong nation to compete among the nations of the world. In these years of the 21st century, now here's the next one. But the physical, the spiritual, now the mental, your mind. Exercises of the mind. Build your library. I say in one of my other seminars, the books that can see you through, the books that can give you the ideas necessary to build a good career, to build a strong enterprise, relationships, good health, and all the rest. The book you don't read won't help. Now, here's part of the exercise of the mind. A good debate, right? We're engaged now in the great political debate with the election coming up in just a few months. This is what we call healthy. We don't believe in the one-party system. Communism said one party. Everybody does what we say. We say no more than one party so we can discuss ideas. Here's the way. The way to make an idea powerful is to discuss it and refine it so that it fits your situation. That's what I ask you to do when the seminar is finished. Debate all of these ideas. Discard some that don't make sense. Give consideration to some that do make sense. Put them on the shelf for later consideration, and then put some of them into action. That makes sense. Jot this down. Make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusions, aligning with Jim Rohn's advice on personal responsibility and success. Do that thoughtful study. One book on health and nutrition says, do this and you'll live forever. The second book says, if you do what that first book says, you'll die young. So what should you do? Which book should you follow? And this is one of the important answers of the weekend. Neither one reads both books and makes up their own mind. You engage in the debate. What makes sense? What seems to be or not to be? Because as close as we can get to the truth, it seems like that's as close as all of us can get. We can't say it is. None of us can do that. We can say that it seems like opposites are in conflict and we are in the middle. Our experience proves it, and the storyteller says it started early. That's what it seems like. God is interested in high drama. That's about the best we can conclude. We can't actually state the truth, except for what it seems like, but engage in thoughtful study and vigorous debate. Sometimes you can debate with others, right? And share ideas. What did you mean by this in the context of Jim Rohn's motivational teachings? Well, I'm not sure that's important to our lives. Someone else's. No, I think it is to engage in this debate. Then, here's the big one. Reminiscent of a climactic moment in a Jim Rohn seminar. The debate is in your own mind. What's good? What isn't good? Finally, you must come to your own conclusions. Read the best you can, study the best you can, take the best note you can, and then do this. Then you decide out of all of that which is valuable enough to try, valuable enough to do, and add to the dimensions of your life that are already underway. That's the key to studying and exercising the mind. Here's the last part. Don't be afraid of the debate. Communism taught. Some people say, well, don't tell people what communism taught. Why not? That's part of the debate. Communism says capital belongs to the state, not the people. We taught all these years, no capital belongs to the people, not the state. What a good debate. How about the example of capital in the hands of the state? Well, read the history of the communist empire that dominated Russia for all those 75 and 85 years. That's what you want, that philosophy, to get that result. And we say, no, that's terrible. That's terror. That's tyranny. How about capitalism makes a country like America flourish and gives everybody an opportunity to come and try it? Engage in the great debate, whether it's your health, your relationships, or your future. Don't be afraid of the debate. The Bible serves as a good book, giving you stories on both sides of the ledger. Here's the story of someone you admire. Here's the story of someone to despise. You need both stories to help you with this debate. Okay, now here's what's next. Develop these 5 abilities in your personal development quest to be the best you can be. Produce all you can. Far more than you need for yourself and for your family. If that's your philosophy, and if that's what you want to do, something extraordinary. It's possible to live an extraordinary life. Here's the challenge, and it's going to be working here this weekend. Number 1, develop the ability to absorb and the ability to get everything. I don't know what all you've planned here, but you know, be in every class you possibly can. Just stay as long as you can. We're going to take enough breaks, I think, to make it easy for everybody. We all recognize that the mind can only absorb what it seeks and endures. I want you to know we are mindful of that. But the key is not to be careless in the gathering of knowledge, not to be casual in the ideas that could double your health, triple your income, accelerate your career, secure your fortune, and amplify your harvest. So don't be careless in the gathering of ideas. Absorb everyone you possibly can. Here's the next ability. Develop the ability to respond. Let life touch you. Let the stories touch you. Let the drama touch you. 12 months ago, I was in India. I lectured in 4 major cities in India. It was like my 4th visit to India. Once again, I was touched by the drama of such extremes of poverty and wealth. If I was given the assignment, Mr. All, and see what you can do with India, I would say, what could I do? What could I do? Where would you start? Let the drama of that affect you. Make you more sober in your reflections about life. And then say a prayer about what you couldn't do by yourself. Maybe a collection of people can do it. Maybe the future will find some answers. A prayer would help. Let life touch you. But don't let it kill you. Let sad things make you sad. Let happy things make you happy. Don't shrug it off. Always, those times of bitterness that come and sadness that come and your heart is struck like a bullet hits a... I'm not saying to give in to it. I'm saying let it affect you. Because that's part of the drama. The old prophet said, what? There's a time to laugh and there's a time to cry. And then he said, be so sophisticated that you learn to laugh with those that laugh and also learn to cry with those that cry. Allow yourself to be touched. I was moved by the drama. Be touched by good ideas. Be touched by opportunity, a concept that Jim Rohn often emphasized in discussions of personal growth and seizing the day. Be touched by someone's unique little sentence that might cause you to open your eyes to see things you never saw before. A philosophy often echoed in Jim Rohn quotes. Here's the next ability. Develop the ability to reflect. Part of this is the challenge when you go home. Not to just put these notes away, but to get them out, maybe fairly often over the next 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. The topim is full. Just to review the notes, to drive the ideas a little deeper, to come up with a little more refinement. And if you go back over these notes, I promise you there is something you will discover that you just didn't have the time to discover while you were taking the notes. Because in taking notes, you're working as hard as I am, right? Taking the notes, trying to listen, trying to decide what to write down and how to compose it in a small sentence. Here's another thought to consider on the value of the 7th day. It says Labor Day is the 6th, and the 7th is a special day. Rest, relax. Spiritual church, family, friendships. So jot this down for the 7th day. Multi-purpose. Seventh day after 6 days of work, multi-purpose. And here's one of the purposes of the seventh day. I think it is to review the previous 6 days. How did it go? Where did you stumble? What did you miss? What should you have thought of that you let pass? Who didn't you see? Just to review the last 6 days. What went right? What went wrong? What's there? What's missing? Then here's what you do now. Plan the next 6 days with this information about the last 6. I planned the next 6. I call it multi-purpose. Seventh day, reflect. Go back over, then design, plan, refine, and deposit the experience of the past 6 days into the adventure and activity of the next 6 days. You will be absolutely surprised at the value and productivity of your weeks if you'll start doing a little more of that. Now here are the last 2. Develop now the ability to act. Activity is now the catalyst and the miracle piece of the process. Here's a little subject called how to turn nothing into something. Number 1.1, imagine the possibilities. Imagination is the first step in the miracle of possibilities. Reality starts with the imagination, a crucial tenet in the Jim Rohn Guide to Personal Development. Now, it's hard to call imagination nothing, especially when you consider the importance Jim Rohn places on it for personal growth. But it's not something in terms of a podium. It's not tangible. So it's hard to say how to turn nothing into something because nothing is. There isn't anything that's nothing. Everything is something. Even if it's the imagination, it's something. Einstein once said that there's nothing faster than the speed of light. And Bill Bailey, one of my mentors, current mentors and longtime friends, said, maybe here's something faster than the speed of light. And that's my thought. It's possible that the thought could be faster than the speed of light. How fast can you think back and think ahead? I guess we can't say the exact same instant, but all we can say is that it seems like the exact same instant. You know, if you don't know the truth, you can't say that's true. And if you're not a scientist and are, a little out of order to say, yes, this is true, but here's what it seems like. It's possible to think back in your head at the same time. I mean, how fast is that? To think back and think ahead. But it's one of those marvelous capabilities that we all have. And in your personal development quest of getting stronger and more vital, both physically and spiritually and mentally, now use this exercise to think back and gather more experience. Think ahead about how to apply it so that the experience now multiplies in value by 2, by 3, by 5, by 10. That's key. Now, how do you turn nothing into something? Number 1, imagine the possibilities today if we had a chance to hear everybody's testimonial of how you got where you are. Some of you went from nothing to something. Some of you went from pennies to fortunes. And if we had a chance to hear everybody's story here today, we would take the time. Guess what? Those stories would conclude. Those stories would conclude. The possibilities are absolutely endless and unlimited. So, number 1, imagine the possibilities, echoing the Jim Rohn Guide to Personal Development. Read an inspiring book one more time. How someone went from nothing to something. The story of Sarah Alfaro, who started with $1. Now she's rich. Wow. The possibilities. The possibilities. They're unending. Now here's the next step. Imagine that some of the possibilities are possible for you. We call this now faith. Now we start with imagination. Now we generate faith. What generates faith? Faith is generated. Sometimes when the testimonial closes like this, if I can do it, what? You could do it. I started behind. I started in the basement. Not in the basement. I started with debt, not surplus. I didn't start with pennies. I had no pennies. That's up to here. I finally got it turned around. Now everything is flourishing. That's what we want to hear. And then someone in a testimonial like that says, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. Here's what that does. Reassure our faith. Keep reading, keep listening to the testimonials. One that excites the imagination as to the possibilities. And number two, it helps faith to occur that what's possible for one is possible for another. Now here's the third step in the miracle process. Deposit your imagination and faith into high activity. A disciplined activity is not just an activity, but skillful and disciplined. Take the classes to learn the skills. Get around people who will teach you the disciplines, and then deposit your imagination into imagining the possibilities and believing that they're possible for you. Deposit that now into what we call high activity. Make this note now. No activity finishes the miracle process of turning nothing into something. Activity finishes the miracle process. I'm positive. That's why the formula was given of 6 days of working miracles and 1 day of rest to ponder how it's going. How is my miracle working process working? Have I missed some? Devote 6 days to the working of miracles. The 7th day is to rest and reflect and go back over and do a bit of studying. Yes, spiritual, a term that encapsulates the depth of Jim Rohn's approach to personal and motivational growth. Yes, church. Yes, synagogue. Yes, family. Yes, social. Yes, friends for amo. But see if you can now come up with a plan to increase or refine your activity, sharpen it so that it produces major results. Here's the next one. Take joy in the work. I couldn't wait to get here today to share my story one more time. I'm already pondering the testimonials that may come out of a class like this next year, a year from now, or 5 years from now. If I happen to meet some of you and you say that on that summer weekend in Anaheim, I finally got it, the lights went on for me. Something you said and something someone else said finally made sense. And I hope we do that together. And here's what's happened. That's going to be extraordinary, a sentiment that could easily be a part of Jim Rohn's vision for success. All right, that's why we're here to do this work. I was excited this morning about being here. I couldn't wait to hear what I've got to say. A lady asked me one time, she said, Mr. King, over the last few years, I've been to your seminars several times. Every time I see you, you're all excited. Things seem to be going great for you. How do you stay so excited all the time? And I said, I think it's because I attend all these seminars. Make this note now because it's very valuable if you struggle to make something clear for someone else. It helps to make it more clear for you. If one person listens and one person speaks, there's the opportunity for transformation for both the listener to be enlightened, to see something he never saw before, and the speaker to be better educated on how to present by struggling with the language.